This is News Desk, and my name is Kimini Nyamani Amano. And our first issue. More than 10 labor unions, including the National Association of Graduate Teachers and the Ghana Medical Association, have declared an indeterminate nationwide strike effective Wednesday, October 22. The unions are protesting government's failure to pay the public sector workers Tier 2 pension funds to a trustee of their choice. The decision means the entire government machinery, that is civil service and public service, will grind to a halt. Let's start off from the Ashanti region. Erastus Asaridonko has joined us from there to give us an update on the situation. Erastus.
Yeah, come in.
Tell us what's changed today in the Ashanti region as a result of the strike.
Well, what has changed, the expectations of the public might be minimal, but then I must say that there are indications that the strike has indeed started. I went early to the ministries area here in Kumasi. It's located just behind the post office at Edum, and this is where majority of the government agencies can be found. And you find out that as at 8:30 to 9 a.m. this morning, all the various institutions, the doors, majority of them are still locked, meaning they are not coming to work today. With the exception of Ghana Standards Authority, where I found their office opened, and I tried to have some chit-chat with the director, but he will not speak with me. But sources say that they are exempted from this strike, so they are working. The immigrations are also working. The security agencies are not part of this exercise. But when you go to other areas, the statistical service and other departments, social welfare department, all of them are closed. Areas where they are open, you find just one person sitting there, and he tells you that they are not working. I moved to the various health units. First, I touched base at the Kumasi South Hospital. It's work as usual. Nurses are on duty, doctors are on duty, they are working. I came to Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. There, I found out that the nurses who were on night duty were now checking out, and they were leaving. Some of them told me that they will not be coming to work the following day. But when you go to the consulting room OPDs, that the outpatient department where you find the bulk or the chunk of the nurses, you find out that the place is filled with patients. The nurses are on duty. The doctors are not there. And they are saying they are waiting for the doctors to come. If they do, they will work. If the doctors don't come, then they are also not working.
I see. But with the hospitals, especially where you have visited, how are patients who have gone there to seek some sort of remedy for their illnesses reacting to the strike?
Well, they are saying that they've not, many of them are telling me they are not aware of any strike. And so they came there this morning as usual. Some of them have referrals. Some of them are coming there for the first time. And they are not aware of any strike, so they are there. They are ready for treatment. So they are not perturbed in any way. So, like I'm saying, the observation of how the impact will be will keep rising in the course of the day. There are some workers who tell me that, well, this time around, when organized labor comes up with a strike decision, normally they come out with circulars to the various offices to and let them know that there is an action going on. But this time around, there are no circulars, and so some of them are confused as to whether indeed this strike is coming off and they should be joining. And so there are people who are on duty because they are not aware, they are not sure whether they are going on strike or they are not.
I see. Thank you very much for that information, Erastus. Erastus Asaridonko joined us from the Ashanti region. Albert Soros also joined us from the Upper East region. Albert.
Hello, Kemi.
What is the story of the Upper East region after a nationwide strike was declared by over 10 labor unions?
Well, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, this morning what they actually decided to do was to send a radio announcement out urging all its members to obey the strike. And so what I did was to check at some schools whether the teachers are teaching or not. And what I can say is that teachers are actually obeying the strike. In one of the schools that I checked, a few teachers came to school early this morning at Adabasi Junior High School, and after a while left the children to their fate and left the school. One of the teachers who happened to be there at the time I visited said that he had just come to school to check on something and to go back, but he was not going to teach. But there's one other school where the teachers said that they actually haven't been, they haven't received any information to this effect, and so they are waiting to see what happens in the course of the day. So it appears that as far as the schools are concerned, some have heard about it and they are complying. Others are still waiting for information. So as the day goes by, I am predicting that all the teachers will gradually obey the strike because of this directive that came from NAS. Now, I've also checked at the regional hospital, and it's business as usual there. Patients are being attended to, but we've been informed by the Ghana Registered Nursing Association chairman that for now they haven't taken any decision yet. They are holding a meeting as we speak, and hopefully after the meeting they will decide what they are going to do, whether they will go ahead and strike or otherwise.
I see. How about the other services, for instance?
Well, for now, these are the areas I've been able to check so far. I'm still doing my checks for the rest of the sectors.
Very well. Again, I'm going to ask you too. How are people reacting to this strike from a wide variety of labor unions?
Well, a lot of people are not happy about it. Parents especially think that their children will just go to school and sit down there and come back. And considering the fact that even though the children are not going to school to learn, they still have to spend money to transport them to school, give them money for feeding and all of that, for them to just go and sit and to come back is something that is worrying for them. And there are others who are also expressing fears that if the nurses and the doctors eventually join the strike, it's going to bring a lot of discomfort to people who will go to the hospital to seek health care, only to be told that they can't be attended to.
I see. How about those boarders in secondary school? Once their teachers are not in school, are they obliged to come back home?
For now, I don't know what will happen to them. We're just monitoring the situation to see what will change in the course of the day. But the teachers are definitely obeying the strike.
Very well. Thank you very much for the updates, Albert. Sorry. Now we can go to the Western region. Albert, sorry. No, rather, William Benjamin Peters has joined us from there. William.
Hello, yeah, Kamini.
What's your story?
Yeah, Kamini, the situation is a little bit dicey over here in the Western region because my checks have revealed that not all members of who are supposed to embark on this strike are complying to the directive. This morning, I visited some of the health facilities in the region, especially I went to Kwesimintim, and over there, the workers have complied to this directive. But likewise, the public health and the medical stores, as well as the Krade Hospital. But my checks at the Fiankwanta revealed that some of the workers are on duty, and what they were telling me is that they were yet to receive any letter of that directive that has been given by the official to embark on this strike. And most of the schools that I also visited this morning have some of the teachers around who are embarking on their duties. And they also gave the same excuse that they are yet to receive any letter to confirm the directive given by the authorities. So that this is how the situation is like over here in the Western region.
I see. How about the health services?
Yeah, like I told you earlier on, not all the members have complied to this directive. Facilities such as the Kwesimintim and the Takrady Hospital, over there, the workers have complied to this directive. They are not around when I went there, but places such as the Esiam Kwanta Hospital, it's a divided situation over there because some of them are on duty while others are not. And the excuse or what they told those on duty, what they told me is that they are yet to actually be given the letter to start this strike. And I had a little interview with the Regional Industrial Relations Officer of the Health Services Workers Union, and he told me he was on his way to some of these that are yet to be given the letter to issue them the letter so that they can also start complying to the directive given.
See, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much, William. William Benjamin Peters joined us from the Western region. The Central region is our next stop. Richard Kojo-Nyako has joined us from there. Richard.
Kamini.
Right, good morning to you. The Central region seems to be a hub of education. How is education being affected as a result of the strike?
Well, the strike is in full force here in the Central region. This morning I've visited 15 basic schools and 5 senior high schools. And what is it is that there are two things. Either you go to school, you meet the teachers who are sitting under trees, who are also in the staff common room and they are not teaching, or the schools have virtually been abandoned. The teachers have simply refused to speak. At the school that I went, Academy of Kaiser King, the reps, the NAGRAT reps and the NAT reps were there to ensure that the strike takes effect and works effectively. And so if you are a teacher and you go to the classroom, the reps come and then they walk you out of the classroom. I've got one of the reps here with me at Academy of Kaiser King. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Well, this is your school. What is really happening? Because I can see the students in the classroom by themselves, and the teachers, some of them have left the school, and others are also sitting in the staff common room.
Yes, unfortunately, as you can see around, there are no teachers, and we are also on strike. We are not happy that it has gotten to this, but however, we want to join this to fight for our rights. Issues pertaining to pension are not issues to be joked with. And so we have all decided to join this strike so that we can fight a good cause.
Okay. So what do you intend achieving? Because the students are here, members are in the classroom and all of that, and you are the teachers, you are seated in the staff common room, and others have also given up.
Yes, it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation, but there's nothing that we can do about it. Very soon, some of us will go on pension. And if you look at the economy that we have now, people are not able to do not have the energy to work. And some of them might have worked for 25 years, 30 years, and then they go home without pension. And in fact, we don't know what to do now than to embark on this strike to fight for the little that is due us.
Okay, thank you very much. So you heard me speak with Oswald Moses, and he is a NAT rep at Academy of Kaiser King, a senior high school in Cape Coast. And I can tell you for a fact that the students are really feeling the pinch because most of them, they do not know why the teachers have called this strike. And so that is the situation now.
Thank you very much, Richard, for that. Richard Kojo-Nyako joined us from the Central region. We can talk to Deputy Minister of Labour, Baba Jamal, now over the telephone. Baba, you're welcome to the program.
Hello.
You're welcome to the program, Baba.
Unfortunately, the line is not clear.
Okay, let's try again. How is your ministry handling this unspecified amount of time as far as the strike is concerned, declared by over 10 labor unions in this country?
Okay, as I said, the line is not clear, but if I heard you, how are we handling this strike action?
Absolutely.
Okay, in the first place, let me make a point clear that government, and for that matter, our ministry, we are very much surprised at the action of labor unions. More so when yesterday I've already invited them for a meeting since 14th of October. We had met previously about 2 weeks earlier at the tripartite committee, and we followed up with a letter on the 14th of October, which was supposed to bring some conclusions to the matter on which they are striking. We are very sad to know that after 1 week of notice, they only came back with a letter from a group forum to tell us that the government has been selective, and for that matter, they are not attending a meeting that was supposed to happen yesterday. So it's a very sad situation. I think that we should all be law-abiding. We should know what is good for all of us. If we are having a negotiation and we have not reached a deadlock yet, I don't understand why one side should unilaterally declare strike indefinitely, expecting to put pressure on government to do what it wants government to do. I don't think that it is the right way to go. Meanwhile, in terms of resolving the matter, we are open to negotiation. Yesterday, we left the office almost 8 o'clock, still waiting for them that they will turn up for the meeting that we are expecting them. They didn't turn up. This morning, we are still in the office, expecting them to come and we negotiate on this matter, because these are things that we can resolve. These are not things that are beyond us. So we are surprised that they are taking, trying to use strikes to intimidate and bully their way through. That, I don't think it is fair.
A number of activities would come to a halt gradually once it has been declared. They didn't turn up for the meeting. What other options are available to you as a Ministry of Labor Relations?
We have tried to establish contact with them. We have tried to impress it upon them for them to come and let's sit down. Because even after all this strike, we will have to sit down. So why should we cause the government to lose money, the whole state to lose money, only for us to come back to what we could have done earlier? So we are in touch with them. They have assured us that we will be turning up for a meeting anytime this afternoon. And so we are here waiting that they will come and we'll be able to resolve this matter.
Labour, on one hand, it's very strong on its demands that it wants its tier 2 payments made into a trustee of choice. Is government going to give in to their demands?
No, we are calling for a negotiation. And so if everybody understands, anybody who understands negotiation knows that it's going to be a two-way affair. It's not something that is straightforward, one-sided matter. And that is why we are asking them to come with open mind. Government had a position. We shifted up from that position to a more amenable position to them. They also have some position that surely they will have to adjust to ensure that together we come to a conclusion of the matter.
But I was asking because since this came up earlier this year, we were told that again some talks were going on. Now we are faced with this strike that could affect all sectors of the economy, and that's why I'm asking: is it something government is going to give into?
No, but the negotiation even didn't start this year. It started long before. 2 years over. And so we all admit that there have been some delays in the system. But of course, in negotiations cannot be predictable. Sometimes you go in and you see that issues change. So we are open and we want. You see, what is good about this, our position is that we are prepared for a compromise. We are prepared to see a conclusion for today's matter. Do you understand? So on the other side, we expect them to also be open-minded, also be prepared to see this matter conclude, but not to insist that it must be on their terms or there will be no negotiation. That surely will not be acceptable to the state. So what we are saying is that we are prepared to meet them, we are prepared to dialogue, and we hope they will also want to meet us and have the same dialogue with them.
They have also raised concerns about their members who will be going on retirement sometime January 2015 and are unsure what their tier 2 payment would be like. What assurance is government given in that regard?
But that is why we, at the last IPAD meeting when we met them, I think that my minister, Honorable Haruna, made it clear that we want to see a conclusion to this matter and ensure that by January we are prepared to pay pensions of those who are retiring. It is something that is very urgent on the mind of government, and we are not reneging on that position at all. We want to see a conclusion. That is why we are worried. That's why we wrote 2 different letters. We were supposed to meet the directors yesterday, the general secretaries yesterday, and meet with the scheme managers and the board of trustees, the chairman today, so that we can bring a conclusion to this matter. So it is something that we see it as very urgent, something that must happen as soon as possible. And for that matter, we expect them to also understand the urgency of this matter and not to play any games with it, and let's go straight to it and solve it.
One other question that has bothered a number of Ghanaians who will be affected by the strike is why it has taken government too long or so long to pay into the tier 2 their tier 2 pensions.
Look, my dear lady, it is important for us to know, understand, and appreciate the enormity of issues of pension. Pension is not something that you can toy with. Pension is not something that you can do it dilly-dally with it. It is something that is very crucial because it has to do with a group of people who will be ending their service to the nation and might have exhausted all their strength and hoping to live on their pension till death. So it is not something that we need to throw out. So it doesn't matter the number of years or months that it has taken. The most important thing is that we are almost at the end of it, and we want to have a conclusion to it. So all this while, all those delays and whatever, as I said earlier, we admit there have been delays, but all those delays have also set into a more better position than we used to have. So if we don't understand it that way and see it as, because it's pension, you must rush with it, you rush and you create problem in the future, and we are in there to be fighting over it. And one important thing is that you see, when it comes to pension and people's money, in this country, even savings and loans, when it collapses, you see the pressure on government. You see what people say about government. Savings and loans is supposed to be a private thing. But so when it comes to government workers' money, the money is not for government. Government has never claimed that the money is for us. What we are saying is that it is people's money, workers' money. It must be handled properly. We have to be, because government is the ultimate trustee to all workers' money in this country. And so if we are not careful and we have a problem with it, finally it will come back to government. And that's why we are very, very concerned and being very careful. But I can assure the entire nation that we are almost there. We will ensure that all those who are returning by January will surely have their pensions paid the way they want it.
But out of curiosity, though, let me find out from you. Do you have the full services of your staff today?
We do have what?
The full services of your staff today.
Subsidies.
No, do you have the full services of your staff members today?
Can you repeat the question? Do I have the full what?
The full services. Do you have the full capacity of your staff today within the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations?
Do we have what? Our staff?
Yes.
Oh, of course, we have our staff here. So far I've gone around and I think we have almost everybody here. They are all working. So, and I think it is so with many ministries. I think that the only problem is that we have some little challenge with our power here. But so far, all the ministries that we have gone around, we have seen people working. And I think that is the way it should be, because when people declare strikes that don't form with the rules of our labor laws, people should be free to opt out. And that is what I think is happening. But we are open to talk to them and ensure that we bring a conclusion to this matter.
Thank you very much, Baba, for your time. I'm very much grateful. Baba Jamal is Deputy Employment and Labor Relations Minister. In a bit, we'll continue our journey across the country and gauge the impact of the strike action, the strike taken by over 8 labor unions, including the Ghana Medical Association, the National Graduate Teachers Association of Graduate Teachers, the Ghana National Association of Teachers. And so you can understand the impact on education. We'll find out from the heads of assisted secondary schools how they intend to deal with the situation, especially with boarding house students. Don't go away.